Backwards.
And upside down.
Skull Rock.
Wow.
Hello, everyone.
I couldn't get our very real effects to turn off.
Oh, it's almost like we're getting up there, man. We got a new set. We've got an interior design team.
We've got pyrotechnics. Like,
Lighting.
what's next? A Hollywood studio soundstage?
Oh,
Elbow, wink, wink.
one could
Please? I would love to go to a soundstage just in general.
One could. Oh.
It's fine. It's fine. You memorized it.
No,
No, you memorized it. You're fine.
I did not memorize it. It's in Spanish. I don't have mouth here to translate here for me. We're talking about the Goonies.
Really?
Goonies. Never Say Die. Goonies. We've name dropped this movie multiple times on this podcast. Yes,
mostly.
Yep. We're finally talking about it. And we thought, what better time for the Goonies than, our first official week of fall. I guess it's probably been
First episode of October.
Yeah. It feels a little more fitting. It's been really rainy and cloudy and cold here, which is what I've heard Astoria, Oregon is like.
Anyone watching is from Astoria, Oregon, and hates how often people ask about the Goonies. We're not asking about it, but just confirm with us if it's rainy, cloudy, and
Muggy.
foggy, which most...
If there's candles everywhere.
There really was a cave that caved in hundreds of years ago when a pirate who somehow made it to
Inside
the west
cave.
coast of the Americas, made it in the cave, and then it caved in.
And there was a giant octopus.
And there was a map and a newspaper.
Chester Copperbot.
Can you confirm that was... Yeah.
Let us know.
I'm looking at this map again. And...
Doesn't make any sense.
I don't think that's Oregon.
No, that looks a little more like
a random island in the middle of the Bahamas.
Yeah, I can see that.
Anyways,
talking about the Goonies.
You said that.
It's May. It's
No,
Star
oh my
Wars
gosh.
month.
Well, we're just going to get a move on because we've already lost half the viewers.
For any of you who don't know, this movie actually has got a big, it holds a special, I can't speak for Trevor, although I'm fairly certain. This movie holds a very special place in my heart. Out of all of the movies that I've seen in my life, I actually think that The Goonies has probably been the one that I've watched the most.
Yeah, I do not share that same sentiment. But that's not my fault.
With that being said, The Goonies is probably... I know that every week we come and go in here in this podcast. We talk about a movie or we reminisce about the good old days of movies. And I say, that's my top 10 favorite movie.
Best. I remember watching that all the time when I was growing up.
This movie, is a bona fide, certain, guaranteed lock top 10. I'd probably say this is probably top 5. If I'm clumping all of Star Wars into just one. Because when people are like, what's your favorite movie? I can't just be like, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. No.
But if we're on that topic, if I'm being honest, this doesn't touch my top 10.
Really?
Or even look at it. I can't see it. I don't think it's bad, but I, unlike you, did not grow up watching this all the time. This is one of my mom's favorite movies,
Mm-hmm.
but I think she just assumed when I was little that we wouldn't like it very much. So we watched Charlie Brown,
Mm.
and we liked that a lot. So that just stuck.
Maybe when we do a Charlie Brown episode, you can say, "This is my top 10."
No, I don't. I don't think.
But
Uh,
I think this movie, obviously, like, I enjoyed this movie not just because, like it's got a cool feeling and a cool story. My dad describes it. I can't think of how he says it. There's a book where it's these two brothers, they solve mysteries. If my dad was here, he'd tell me exactly. If he's listening, I bet you he's telling me, "Oh, it's this." I don't know, but there's a book that was kind of popular when my dad was a kid. That was kind of like the same vibe, and that's why he enjoyed this movie so much. And I mean, for me, it definitely tugs at those like little like the inner boy strings, right? Like as a kid, I always thought it would be fun to go on an adventure and to do dangerous things and to find secret treasure. Like that's, I don't know about you, but I feel like that's a lot of what my like imagination consisted of as a kid.
yeah, I mean, probably to a slightly different degree, but I like huge props to Steven Spielberg for having a thing in the 80s because this clearly was like I could have my timeline wrong in my head, but this was clearly like him phasing from Indiana Jones to E.T. This was his in between.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, what if it was still treasure and mystery, but children?
Oh, that's gonna bother me. What is those stories? It's on my brain.
Everything I said did not register. In
No, it
Tristan's.
did. Steven Spielberg, Indiana Jones, E.T. Oh.
While he looks that up, which I don't even know where he's going to begin. Two brother books in 1970s. While I was rewatching this movie, because
The Hardy Boys. It was right on the tip of my tongue.
was it?
Yes. I was going to say it had something to do with boys, but then I felt like that could have been clipped real bad.
We're real good.
So I kept my mouth shut.
Okay.
The Hardy Boys.
The Hardy Boys. Never read those.
That's because that's way before our time. Just honestly, really like this movie. It's just about everything that's good is out of our time. Anyways.
Yeah, rewatching this movie, I felt whimsy. Like
Yeah.
the kind of magic that is very present in Steven Spielberg movies. Like there's lots of different parts of this movie with music and with the vibe and the way it's shot. It feels very much like Hook in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's very much it's like focused on the children and like the hope that each one of them and their dynamic adds to the story that
Mhm.
brings it all
Well, and
together at the climax.
It feels grounded, right?
Yeah.
Like I can't help to notice, like not notice. I can't help to point out that I feel like just if this movie was made now, there'd be some weird supernatural like element to it, and it would be over the top and CGI.
It'd be a series.
Like it would just be
It wouldn't
kind
be a
of
movie.
it would take. I think the real magic in this movie is that it feels believable. Like if you don't know
In a
history,
sense, obviously.
like if you didn't know history and you knew that there was no such thing as a pirate, like it feels believable. Like when you're watching it as a kid, at least for me, growing up watching this, I was always like, this seems real, right? Versus like at the time, I'm also watching Transformers and Avatar, right?
Uh-huh.
Like those movies obviously are more grounded than what we have now, right? But like in a world where like Tron had come out and like all of these things that like delve like aliens and
Yeah, there was a big, at least in our childhood, a very big like shift in Hollywood towards like fictitious
mhm,
worlds and universes, the
mhm,
Star Wars prequels and with Avatar and
mhm,
with Tron, and
mhm.
pointing everything toward like, imagine
Well, and
this
like
completely different
and going off of like what you said with Indiana Jones, right? Like you have Indiana Jones and it feels believable. It
based
feels
off of
real.
like real mythology.
Right.
And
And I get that same vibe from this one,
yeah,
where there's not magic, there's not the supernatural, there's not like other forces at hand. Like it's just a treasure hunt. It's just Indiana Jones without Nazis and Indians. What are they? The guys with the turkey, not Indians. I'm probably still butchering that.
just the cult from
That-
Temple of Doom.
That stuff, right? Without that stuff, there's just it falls in the same category for me, right?
Yeah.
And watching it, like even today, like when I watch the Goonies, I go, I kind of miss. I wish that they would make more movies that were like this, right? Instead of just milking the crap out of Indiana Jones, like I miss
now
this
that
genre of fiction.
Now that, well, I guess we miss adventure movies.
Yeah.
It's like, think about it. What like in recent years, what would be a movie you'd consider an adventure film? Like actually think of
The
trying to
only
think
one
of
I
an
can
answer.
think of is Onward, but that's animated.
Yeah.
I was
I
gonna
mean,
say-
a lot of Pixar movies would probably fall more toward adventure, but
There's not a
it
lot.
leans into a different aspect of adventure that isn't like starting point to destination,
Yeah,
antics in between.
there's not a lot.
Yeah.
I
And
can
none
only
of
think
them-
of animated movies.
Yeah. So, Steven Spielberg, you still make films. I know that all of them have some sort of like, they're all grounded in your childhood and your life to some degree. Which, what were you had an awesome imagination when you were a kid.
Yeah,
But like,
well, and I get also
make
that-
another one.
I think also part of the problem why we don't get that much stuff like that anymore is because that's just not. I don't want to like marginalize people, but I feel like I'm old enough now that I can complain about the kids these days.
What, with your own
Yeah, but like
6-month-olds these days? They don't know.
kids of our generation, like the younger kids of our generation, and like even the ones that are being born now of this new generation, their lives are so different than ours, right? Like
Yeah.
even you got the very tail end of the
Yeah,
Like-
I come from like an in between generation. Like, by definition, I'm Gen Z, which
Yeah.
technically so are you by
Yeah.
definition. But like,
but
like our end of Gen Z compared to like the
we're
2010
like
end of
the
Gen Z.
unofficial zillennial.
Yeah, like
where
we
got-
played outside and we know what VHS tapes are. And
We picked up sticks and used them as literally anything.
I
a
remember
gun,
I
a
remember
sword,
picking up a rock
staff.
outside Target that I would put on my arm, and I'd be like, it's my Buzz Lightyear laser blaster. It's just a freaking rock.
Like kids with when we were kids and by proxy like our parents, like we had to use imagination. For us it was a little easier because we had other means like better toys and more technology.
And lots of things that were being put out product wise were tailored towards
But we still
You
had
know,
to use
activity.
our imagination to have
NFL
fun.
Play 60.
But kids nowadays don't have that. At least I don't see it, right? Everybody's got a phone. Everything's built around like social media or like video games. You know what I mean? Like, not to sound old, but
No, I get it.
I don't go outside and see a kid playing around with a stick in his front yard anymore, right?
Or
Or
coming up with stories with their friends
yeah, like
and acting them out, having our own.
it just also might be that I'm super out of touch with that, but I just don't see
Yeah.
that. I
Put it in the comments below if your kid plays outside.
Your kid touches grass.
And not because someone online told him to.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel
Uh.
like that's why now we have such, like, why those out of this universe kind of like ideas and concepts and like representation in movies is so popular, is because that's kind of what people are, what kids and people our
It's-
age are being fed.
It's how the world is evolving.
Mm-hmm.
It's why like Goonies wouldn't really work as well today, because you wouldn't be able to put that out there and then have the target demographic pretty much replicate the movie with their friends when they're
Right.
done. Pretend that they're on a treasure hunt. And
Well, and like you get a little bit of that with Stranger Things, but even
Yes.
Stranger Things gets more into the supernatural, right?
the Duffer Brothers, the creators of Stranger
Mhm.
Things, like they did take heavy inspiration from
Right.
Goonies, but like again, like the point of Stranger Things was to have another dimension.
Right. But
So
the Goonies, like, not the Goonies, Stranger Things really succeeds because it taps back into that. Like, I feel like it blends what people want to see now versus what people yearn for nostalgia wise.
yeah, I think
Right.
that's why they have it takes place in the 80s
Mm-hmm.
when the Goonies happens.
Right. Well, and you look at,
Prime
If you could-
playing outside time.
if you could
The
put
1980s.
down, like, if you could look at the chart of the target demographic and what ages watch the show, I bet you there are people that are either our age or in between our age and our parents' age that are like
Mhm.
the biggest spike, right? Probably
Uh-huh.
leaning a little more towards our parents' ages.
Yeah, the people that grew up in the 80s.
Because they're like, wow. Because I remember like
what
hearing
it
my
was
mom
like.
and my dad being like, yeah, this is cool.
yeah.
Cool seeing this stuff again. Like, I
My
remember
dad would see like a product,
Yeah.
and he'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh, I remember that."
my mom, I remember there was a Crunch Bar that had the old Crunch Bar logo. And my mom's like, wow, how do you think they came up with that? I remember my mom saying, like, my mom and dad talking to each other once and being like, do you think that they just like made new things special for this that looked old, or they really did digging to find like authentic things from that era?
I think it's a combination.
And I like that. It was cool because I'm sure that that's probably not what the creator of Stranger Things wanted people to do, but that was
Yeah,
dialogue that I
just,
watched. Anyways, we're
yeah.
getting off topic,
we have been for the last 15 minutes.
but that's why I enjoy Goonies, and that's why when I watch it over again, I get the same kind of feelings with this movie as I do the original 3 Indiana Jones.
It's like a unique type of nostalgia,
Mhm.
because like, for you, it's probably the kind of nostalgia like, one, remembering you watching the movie all the time when you were little, and also the nostalgia of kind of being like that
Mhm.
and being creative and imaginative
Mhm.
with friends and outside. And I guess like for me, it gives me the kind of nostalgia where it just like, it has that kind of magic where like everything, like a huge credit to whoever the director of photography and the cinematographer were, and probably Steven Spielberg for the same time. Like the way that it's shot is that like, it very much feels like it is from the kid's perspective.
Mhm.
There's the only time that you have like top down camera angle where you're looking down on the children is like when it's coming from an adult or Brandon, right? the older brother.
Right, yeah.
Like all the other times you are eye level or
Mhm.
below the
Well,
kids.
and, like everything, this probably isn't intentional. This is probably more just limited to the technology they have, but the colors are so vibrant.
Well, back when they had to like manually
right? Like
Technicolor was still in use
everything looks
because it's
big
on
and grand. Like
film.
I remember watching as a kid being mesmerized by One-Eyed Willie's room when Mikey goes in there with all the gold. I was like, whoa, right? Like
Mhm.
that. And even to this day, I watch that scene and I'm like, there's so much color in this like one shot.
That's also a huge shout out to just Oregon.
Like you see so much color and you're like, this is cool.
That's
like,
when it felt a lot like Hook for me.
Mhm.
Obviously, pirates,
mm-hmm.
but like just the way that Steven Spielberg figured out how to make pirate ships huge while also being small. Again, like kids' perspective kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sure, especially for Mike, he kind of has like a really like oddly intimate relationship with One-Eyed Willie. Kind of like almost like he's like a hero to him. That's just like how like the vibe I was getting watching it.
Like inspiration.
Especially when the scene when he finally, sees him and he's like, talking to him and like whispering under his breath after he'd say things. Like microphone probably can't pick it up, but like, I don't even remember the whole line, but I just thought it was really interesting how he would be like talking to him and then he'd whisper like
he'd be like,
"You've been waiting for me."
Yeah.
Yeah, I
and
can't
he's
remember.
He's like, hey, One-Eye Willie, these are my friends. Say hi to my friends.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, it's like he really wanted him to speak, which
Yeah.
obviously in real, like, not to, I guess, like, ruin the magic of the movie for me, but, like, can you imagine, like, talking to a skeleton? Like, the whole
like,
corpse?
can you imagine? Well, at that
That's, like,
point.
hard to think of. It's very just out there.
Yeah.
Like
But-
going up to a corpse, and like, hi, say hi to my friends. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
It's just a fun genre. Like it's just it's such a fun take on like how to make things like adding what you were saying, like showing the magic that kids carry with them, right?
and
That's all in here, right? Like the movie seems like at times like it's like if this movie was made today, I could see at the very end like all of the kids waking up from like a nap, right? Like
a shared dream.
it's so far out there that it's like a dream. But from the kid's perspective, like all these things are like the scene when Chunk and Sloth are going through and all the pipes are moving. And he's like, oh yeah, Mikey's for sure been through here. Like that's totally just like from a kid's perspective of just chaos, right?
Yeah. Like how much things
and the real like the more real scenes in there come from like the perspectives of like Mouth, right? And how he's like, I'm not a kid anymore. Our kid life is being ruined, thrown away, and we're being forced to grow up. So I'm going to grow up. This was my coin, right? Like the scenes that seem that have the least amount of magic to them are the scenes where the kids have to face reality.
Yeah. And that's almost certainly the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I guess being more on topic on, the content of the movie, thank heavens we're finally here. I couldn't help but notice with a lot of the way, a lot of the sets and the way that they were designed, that clearly Steven Spielberg wasn't just writing this so that way the audience would be able to have a good feeling of what it was like to have that magic from like a child's perspective and how much things matter to them. But also a lot of the sets were built in a way that like he wanted the kids to have fun while they were shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically the water slide in the cave. Like it's just a straight up working water slide that he has the kids go down.
Right.
And he has a camera follow them. Like that had to have been so much fun.
Yeah.
For those child actors. It's like, okay, well, today we're shooting the water slide scene. Woo!
Yeah.
And then they,
yeah,
yeah, because that's a natural cave formation.
Right.
Like how fun and how magical.
Mm. No, and I would agree. Like, it would have been awesome. Like, not only with like the water slides, but just like any of it. I feel like all of it would have been fun to do as a kid. Like, I can only imagine, like, back to the Stranger Things, because that's probably the closest we can get to like a modern day equivalent of this.
Yeah, it helped
Like,
for people.
those kids probably had a lot of fun, but you got to think about like what they had, like set wise. I'm sure they had probably a lot of like the house shots and stuff, like filmed like in an actual set. But almost all of our like stuff that we use now is filmed with a screen in mind. And a lot of Stranger Things was filmed before the
volume.
volume was made.
I don't even know if they use that.
Right. So like to be a kid in the Goonies era, right? Be Sean Astin, right? Or Sean Austin. Astin?
Yeah.
I was right. Okay. Sean Astin, right? Like that would be so much fun because like back then they have to build everything.
Yeah. Like you can tell
The pirate ship is a full-blown pirate ship.
Yeah, they got some soundstage and they made all of those different cave sets, which obviously are like, you know,
Or like the
three-walled.
piano scene.
Yeah, like again, watching it again, like when the floor like crumbles away, like fake. Like clearly they probably have like a collapsible floor or whatever, like
And
underneath.
And a screen.
Blue.
Yeah.
But like actually
Still, like to be in the room with a like that would be cool. Right?
yeah, and like there was so much water.
It,
Kids love to swim.
I mean, going back to another Pirates thing, like Pirates of the Caribbean, also like you get a lot of the same vibes, right? Where even then they built out sets a lot more than they did in the most recent Pirates movie. Right?
Yeah,
Like, it would just be fun to experience that.
if anyone watching is a production designer or set designer, set director,
We would
works on a soundstage and is willing to take guests, hit us up. Don't care what production it is.
literally any production.
I would like to be on a film set. Dream of mine.
Mm-hmm. My dream, I don't think it'll ever happen. My dream is to just graze the silver screen. Even if I'm an extra. I would love to, like, at some point get big enough that I get, like, a background role. Like, I'll be the stormtrooper that gets his head cut off. Or
And then
dies.
it's a deleted scene.
Yeah, even so, it's fine.
I
by
know
me.
I was there. I took selfies.
Even if I was Mike Wazowski with the Monsters logo over my face, I'd be like, I was on TV. That is my dream. But it would be so fun. Like, and I'm sure if you could talk to these guys now, like Kei Kwan or Sean Astin, right? Like if you were to talk to them now about what it was like filming the Goonies, they'd probably just sing praises about it.
Oh yeah.
Because it looked like it would not only like was it like a fun set to be on, but like a lot of those guys really enjoyed each other's company and it was just fun. Right?
Yeah. And I'm sure like
And it'd be cool to like, I don't know. I feel like if I recorded something like that, right? If I was in the Goonies and then 50 years down the line, people watch that movie and they're like, wow, that seems like it was awesome. And you could be like, it was really cool. And it's awesome to see how the movie turned out, but also how the movie continually is perceived by the public. Like
everyone misses that kind of.
we didn't have the tools that they have now, but people still love our movie compared to the stuff that comes out now, you know?
And I still think, I don't know if I think I've mentioned this on an episode before, but like, I really think that film grain is a magic element
Mm-hmm.
that it is like,
They should bring it back just to capture that.
and like,
again.
I know that a lot of big movies are filmed on IMAX on 70 millimeter film, but it is a different film.
Yeah.
It's not like those.
It's not, you don't have the grain.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know film that well. I don't know how to describe it, but people know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
There's a
You've
distinct
seen-
difference between anything pre-95
Yeah, oranges and yellows popped out differently than they do now.
or blues.
and-
Blues were outrageous. Like any shade of blue, just like the gems. That's what I was talking about in
Mhm.
like Willie's
the way it all
in
reflects
Willie's
off.
room, seeing all the blues and the reds and all that stuff, like beautiful. And you don't capture that a lot now. Like unfortunately, the way that humans actually perceive those colors isn't quite as cool as cameras picked up those
Uh-huh.
colors.
Yeah, quit shooting for 120 hertz, 60 FPS, 4K.
Yeah.
Go back to 780p. I need that. Silent film. Bring back Charlie Chaplin.
Oh my gosh.
Buster Keaton. Can we get him back?
But from a movie standpoint, like all of those stuff, but I think it would also like I just have to give props to not that this movie needs it, because heaven knows that this is one of the most like cult classic movies to ever come out of the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
But like just the prop and set design teams, like they did
They really
it's
were
fun.
in a cave.
It's fun to watch. I know I've said that. Can keep a tout like a counter. How many times has Tristan said fun to watch? But it is, right? Like you watch this movie, and for me personally, like I haven't ever gone on Rotten Tomatoes to see how this movie's ranked. I'm sure it's ranked poorly.
I don't know. I think it's like 80%.
But this is just a movie that like there's not a lot of like just outlandish stuff in it. And it's so grounded for me that I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, and like thinking about it, all of the things that happen to them are obviously they're still very silly
Mm-hmm.
and all of that with the
They make very
antagonists of the
light
movie.
of serious situations.
Yeah, like they're clearly very like, I guess the more I think about it, the more there is just so many different things that are either pulled from for the movie or pulled from out of the movie for future Spielberg films. Like the Fratellis, the antagonists of the movie, like Home Alone.
Mm-hmm.
And like the way that they're dealt with is very Home Alone.
Mm-hmm.
With Ke Huy Quan's, oiling
Like
up the
fun-
log.
Fun
Like,
gadgets.
yeah.
Yeah.
It very much
Data.
Steven- yeah. Oh. Like I already said with Indiana Jones and with E.T. and with Home Alone after, like Goonies had to have been a shockingly pivotal
Pitbull. Image Worldwide 305.
yeah. Pivotal film for Spielberg, whether he meant to or not.
When
Like-
did Indiana Jones come out?
Which one?
First one.
That came
Like-
out in 80.
I'm trying to timeline all of this in my brain.
I believe Last Crusade came out a year before Goonies did. Goonies came out in 86, I want to say.
Yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark 81, Temple of Doom 84, Crusade 89.
Ooh. Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
Goonies
Should have
yeah.
been
Goonies was 85.
85.
Then
So it came out right after Temple of Doom, which that makes sense.
E.T. came out in 82.
Yeah, my timeline was wrong. Forgive me,
Home
everybody.
Alone 90.
Yeah.
Right. So you can definitely see where he pulls elements and then uses elements, which is kind of cool. Like now that you've like brought that up, like it's kind of cool to get a little bit of a glimpse into Spielberg's brain.
Right? It almost kind of feels like it's all kind of a interconnected
Story.
universe. However, I will say I get no Jurassic Park other than maybe Sloth.
Ah! Shooter!
No one has ever reacted so aggressively toward a baby Ruth.
Ah! Ah! Root, baby.
Yeah, obviously, like looking at it now, like the facial prosthetic is very obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Like clearly that eye that's way down there, not real. His ears are animatronic. They just have some wires, or he might have something, because I don't know if you ever see him wiggle with his hands in frame. He might have something he
yeah,
he
probably
pushes or pulls.
I also want to say,
But like,
Sloth is such an awesome character, and I think my perception of Sloth always was never like, oh, he's weird,
Yeah.
right? Like I always thought Sloth was cool. Like that guy's badass.
what an accepting individual you were as a
But
child.
that would not fly nowadays. Having like Sloth, just in general, in a movie. Can you imagine? Can you imagine watching Stranger Things and one of the main characters, some guy who dropped on his head,
I only dropped you once.
is mentally challenged, and they make fun of him multiple times through the movie? Like that would not be accepted well.
I guess it would really just depend on how they do it, and would they get another NFL lineman to do it?
But I will say,
Give me Myles Garrett and a stupid prosthetic.
Dude, you don't even just get Myles Garrett and make the bad guy Mason Rudolph. You got the same thing. Oh, we're in some. That's my favorite, best Sloth moment.
When he tears off.
Hey, you guys, and it's
Yeah.
like dun 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 dun. Dun.
I guess rewatching it, he
We're in
had
some deep shit now, Francis.
he had a lot less screen time than I remembered.
Yeah. But the screen time that he does have is awesome.
Uh-huh.
It's amazing. Or when he like takes the dagger and rides all the way down. Ah, it's such a good movie. I also could quote this movie like no other. Like it's I've seen this movie so many times that there's just things that come to me. They're my demon. They're my ticks. I'm like,
Well, I guess in that instance, tell me everything.
what's the worst thing that I ever done?
I puked in a bag.
I took a bunch of stuff and I put it in a bag, and then I went to a movie theater and then I went ugh, 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 and I dumped the bag everywhere, and then everybody else started to throw up, and I felt real awful.
It's the worst thing I ever done.
I like this kid. Can we keep him?
I think I'm starting to like this.
Oh, come on. Do the truffle shuffle. Come on.
Oh man. And like looking at how like where Sean Astin, Ke Huy Quan, and Josh Brolin all ended up.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ke Huy Quan probably like
He landed
extremely
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, before Goonies. I think
Like-
Indiana Jones is what got him the role in
Uh-huh.
Goonies, and like he's just a ton of fun. He's a phenomenal child actor. But
Mhm.
I honestly don't think people really talk about how good Sean Astin's performance was as
yeah.
a child actor.
I mean, since then he landed like crazy big roles.
yeah, he went really far with his career after, but
Not
like
to mention, he probably got one of, if not the biggest role of his career was in Lord of the Rings. I'm almost positive that movies like this had some effect on that.
yeah. But like
I remember. Go ahead.
I was just really impressed with his performance as Mike in Goonies.
Yeah.
It very much felt very emotional and very real. It didn't feel as much like I'm just reading what I memorized on the script out loud.
Yeah, he felt like he was a kid experiencing it.
Like
Yeah.
he really was going to lose his house, and he
Well,
had
I
to move
remember
away.
I remember being blown away because before I gained like sentience in the movie world and actually kept track of like actors and movies and previous roles. I remember watching Infinity War and watching Thanos, being like, I know this guy from somewhere. Where do I know this big purple creature from? And then I watched the Goonies and I was like, holy no way.
Yeah,
Like
puberty hit Josh Brolin hard.
crazy. I remember being mind blown. Like, that's crazy. That's the same guy. But anyways, it's just a fun movie. There it is again. Ding. It just words can't properly put it in like a proper description for me. How much I loved this movie.
Could I give it a shot?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's just a fun movie.
Yeah, there you go. Who said that?
I don't know. It just came to me.
But this movie means a lot to me, and I think that probably like what you said earlier, the reason why it resonates so much with me is because there's more than just like childhood nostalgia, like living through the 80s nostalgia. For obviously I didn't live through the 80s, but like so much of my childhood was, I've talked about this before, like if you don't know, brief summary, my introduction into movies was based solely upon me and my family moved a lot as a kid. I moved 13 times growing up until I was about 13. So I moved like an average once a year, sometimes twice in a year. So I didn't get a chance. Like I was really good at making friends, but I obviously didn't ever get to keep friends. So the people that I had that were my people were my family. And my dad grew up watching movies because he had a little bit of a home problems with his family and his at the time stepdad. So like how they bonded were movies. So that's like all my dad knew. And so we watched movies, and that's what got me into this sphere. So that's part of the reason why I latch on to these older movies, like as everybody's seen and as you've heard countless times. I latch onto these older movies because these are the stuff that it's like I grew up, like I've oftentimes been told that I'm like a man out of time. Because like the music I listened to and the movies I watched and like the media I took in were all stuff that my dad did, right? So I played all of the really old consoles growing up instead of the new like I remember when the Xbox 360 came out, my family was still playing on a PS2 and a PlayStation 1, right? Like or like a Nintendo 64. Right? So like these things I latch onto because they're something that I've always just this was my childhood. So The Goonies is a movie to me that like will always hold a place in my heart because to me The Goonies is like my childhood. It helps me sounds dumb, but it helps me feel young again, right?
Yeah. Like cuz
I'm sure it tickles that nerve.
Like it makes you miss being a kid. Because that's when I feel like the most nostalgic is not necessarily when I'm watching something I used to watch when I was little or when I'm like playing a game I played when I was younger. It was really just like when like, there's certain music or certain places or certain sounds.
It's a high of childhood innocence.
Yeah. I like that.
Just came up with it.
When I just inject straight whimsy into my blood.
That's more.
That's my drug. Is whimsy. That could actually be a nickname for something. I have no idea.
Oh, we do not condone alcohol or substance abuse in any way.
Whimsy, though. The concept, not whatever. if it is somehow the name of a drug. Highly recommend Whimsy. So, like, I'm not saying that I'm constantly looking for things that bring me back to that kind of feeling, because that might ruin the feeling altogether.
Yeah.
So I'm honestly okay with like Hollywood right now not making anything akin to the Goonies. Let bygones be bygones, and let Goonies never say die. Like, it's gonna be a cult classic.
Yeah.
As long as we keep showing it to our future generations.
And I think it would, I would agree with you. Like, as much as I say that I wish that Hollywood would make good movies again, I'm glad they don't, like what you just said. But I wish that there was a way that we could plug these kind of movies more, right? Like this, or Indiana Jones, or the Ghostbusters, right? Like these fun 80s movies that now we have over the top iterations of, but like where it all started is better than what we have.
Yeah.
Right. And not that we're like I agree with you, not that I'm chasing that high of childhood innocence, right? But when you get a dose of it, like it hits hard and it hits good, right? Like when you watch these kind of movies, or you pick up an old video game, you listen to an old song, and you get that rush of like nostalgia and remembrance that hits your soul.
I'm on the brink of tears.
Yeah, you're like,
I'm like,
wow.
Man, I miss being a child.
Wow.
And not having a care in the world.
Yeah. So I just wish that there was a way that we could, I don't know. I wish there was a way that we could like have kids experience that again. I remember a little off topic, but like I see those memes of like on the internets, on the interwebs. But I see
those W's.
I see the memes that were like, wow, you mean to tell me we only get to experience this once and it's just flooded with images from our childhood? Like, I wish there was a way that we could help kids now experience that, because I can't imagine in 50 years that someone's going to be like, wow, bro, this makes me feel so young. It's an iPad.
Well, I mean, I guess not to get on my high horse and stand on my soapbox, but we probably can't force future generations to latch their nostalgia onto the same things we do.
Yeah.
We can show them Star Wars
Mm-hmm.
and Harry Potter and the Goonies and whatever we grew up watching that makes us feel nostalgic. But what they have now is what they have now.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, there's going to be kids who, when they're in their early 20s, are going to be like, dude, Skibbity Toilet makes me cry now. It makes me so nostalgic.
That's crazy, bro. That's so nostalgic.
Oh, dude, I haven't heard that in ages.
6, 7.
Like I'm going to want to kill myself if I hear someone in their 20s be like, Unc,
Yeah.
were you around during Skibbity Toilet? Like,
Yo, remember when we used to call each other the Rizzler? Yo, that's crazy.
that will make me a grumpy old man.
Yeah, I'm already. When people say that stuff, now I'm a grumpy old man.
Get your Skibbity Toilet off my lawn.
Yeah. I'm gonna rizz my foot up your ass. I will coin that phrase.
You can take it.
When I'm
You
in
can
my
take it.
50s and I'm old, and my grandkids are hitting me with that, I'm going to say that.
Oh, that's perfect. Man, this was barely a Goonies episode. And I'm okay with it, honestly. I think we touched on pretty much what it was going to turn into regardless.
Yeah. Thank you to the Goonies, and thank you to, if by any chance this gets out to any any person involved with the Goonies.
If Steven Spielberg sees this, I love you.
Thank you for making this movie so impactful that it continues to touch people's childhoods and hearts now, because it's a good movie and they really don't make them like they used to.
Yeah. Hopefully one day we're nostalgic to people.
Yeah.
I remember those dang. Yeah, anyway.
We were there when they started. Anyways.
I remember when they didn't have video. Only real ones were in around.
Well, we will see you next week for
Tron Ares.
The Grid, a digital frontier.
I tried to picture
With the circuits like highways.
ships. Motorcycles.